Would you like to do the intro?
Have we even come up with one yet?
That's why I'm asking if you want to do it, because I've got jack shit.
Welcome to Monster Matinee, where we've only reviewed one horror movie despite being a horror movie review podcast. And that's not going to be changing anytime soon, I guess.
If you want to argue, Jefftown could be considered a horror movie. It's like looking into
The
an
horror...
alternate reality of what you could be.
I did say in the stream we did for that, the horror is this man's existence, and then we found out it's the horror of everyone around this man having to deal with this autistic Down syndrome man who just takes advantage of them and, feels them up and draws porn.
I gotta find the... I sent you, a name for this episode, or whatever we're gonna be calling this, and I can't find it, and I feel like an asshole.
I don't think you ever told me a name, actually.
Writing it down for later. Monster Matinee presents Flicks from the Graveyard Shift. So
I think that actually was the one you sent me. It was like movies in the graveyard shift or flicks in the graveyard shift or something like that.
This is the late night special of Monster Matinee. We try to keep it chill. Maybe you're drinking a couple IPAs because you're a horrible person. And
maybe you're drinking a Dr. Pepper despite being diabetic because it's a cheat day.
Oh, it's a cheat day. You're fucking gambling with your life.
Yeah, it's cheating with your life.
It is currently 10:32. You know what? I'll do an intro. Or we'll steal one. Because...
The Ghost Adventures.
What?
Adventures intro.
No, Ghost Adventures is base as fuck. We gotta do, a retrospective on that.
Oh, why don't have you asked the woman for her list?
I hate to say this, but she doesn't watch movies.
Do better.
Yeah, I'll stay up and watch movies while she's asleep.
Or playing the horse game.
Yeah, all she does is play that horse game.
So, this is your idea, so I'll let you introduce what we're doing.
From the high desert in the great American Southwest, I bid you all good evening, good morning, and whatever the case may be across these many prolific time zones. From the Hawaiian and Tahitian islands out west, stretching out east to the U.S. Virgin Islands of the Caribbean, south into South America, and north all the way to the pole, and worldwide on the internet. This is Monster Matinee.
I'm Sneed.
And today, on Flicks from the Graveyard Shift, this is going to be a new series for Monster Matinee where me and a new host every episode will be discussing new movies. And what we're going to be talking about is movies that aren't necessarily good or culturally relevant, but movies that we think everyone should see at least once in their lifetime.
Sometimes movie could be good. Sometimes movie could be bad.
Well,
sometimes it could just be down the middle. But it's all ones we think that, you should at least see it once in your life.
I would wager that some of my picks, despite being as pretentious as all hell, really are amazing. So, I guess we've rubbed away all of the foam from this coffee, whatever the foam latte shit is. Unless you want to say something. Do you want to flip a coin and see who goes first?
Should probably go first, only because I added a 6th spot to my list.
Daring.
Just so,
Daring.
I was having a hard time putting down a couple of, this should go here, this should go here, so I made a list of 6 instead of 5.
Okay. So, I'm going to give you a choice. This is a movie I've talked about before, or do you want me to do something different?
I mean, if I'm going first, it wouldn't matter, would it?
Okay. Oh, I thought you told me to go first.
No. I said I should go first since I have a 6 in my list here. Technically more because you know what I mean. But
All
since
right.
I have 6, it'll be better for me to go. Then you have 5, and we'll go from there.
All right, let's go.
So, right off the bat, number 6, Suburban Sasquatch.
Oh my god, you're such a... We're going back to 2010's YouTube. Your movie sucks. everyone's got to talk about Suburban Sasquatch, huh?
Look, I cannot help it, okay?
I
This
get it.
movie is awful, but I love everything about it,
I,
right?
it makes me feel better about one of my picks.
So, like, Suburban Sasquatch, it has that heart and soul put into it that you don't see in some movies today. And you can feel that coming through the screen, even though everything looks like it was made on a budget of a box of donuts, and they bought the donuts instead of any props for the movie.
Okay.
It's just I can't help it. David West Cabbage has creativity and heart, damn it. But this is the movie where they reuse the exact same fake leg prop for every death.
I'm sorry, but like, I have to give a shout out to Jay. This is the only fucking thing I can remember from that video is he keeps calling the director David Miscarriage. And that's
For
so...
anyone wondering, he's referencing the Red Letter Media video on this movie.
Oh,
It is pretty funny.
so
So that is the reason I picked that as a movie I think everyone should at least see once is not because it's good, because it's definitely not good, but it's an example of how there are movies that are terrible that are just still really fun to watch and are really enjoyable.
well, let me ask you a question. This will help prove your point. Can you name any movie that got nominated for an Oscar in the past 3 years?
No.
Can you name any movie that won an award in the last 3 years?
There was one I remembered, like, getting one, but I can't remember the name of it at all.
But you know what I bet you can remember?
What?
Tommy Wiseau's The Room.
Oh, absolutely.
As a species, I feel that we have this tendency to remember the negative a lot better than, there's a reason people still make movie videos on The Room. It still has showings, but nobody's watching, oh, let's go Mad Max in theaters anymore.
Is that your segue into your number 5, just to ask?
No, it was just me proving your point.
Yeah.
So,
It's like The Room. The Room has a lot of the same qualities as Suburban Sasquatch. Now, they're both not very good movies, but they're made by people that had the heart and the drive and the passion, and god damn it, they made their art the way they wanted it to be made.
if that's all you have to say about Suburban Sasquatch, I will...
All I have. That's all I have for now on that one, yeah. Unless you want to talk favorite kills before we move, like your favorite kill in the movie before moving on.
Unfortunately, it's been forever since I've seen that. I actually don't... It's weird, right? I don't know if I've actually ever seen it. But I know I've seen enough YouTube videos on it.
Oh, you know what? We're gonna do a live viewing of that movie soon. That's a great one to go for. We'll talk our favorite kills whenever we do that.
So I'm gonna keep this as a surprise for you, but we're gonna class this joint up a bit. This next movie was actually nominated for a Grammy, but unfortunately,
A Grammy.
it lost.
Okay.
And it's a very interesting musical that has a little something for everyone. It's based.
Is this the movie about the guy? What?
No, ask your question.
Is this the movie about the guy? Is this Dear Evan Hansen?
No. This is actually good.
Okay.
This is based on a true story, though. My movie is Phallus in Wonderland from 1992.
Phallus in Wonderland?
This is Guar's movie, The Slumdog of the Universe. This movie is probably a perfect encapsulation of Guar. And it opens with a kid skateboarding, and they get hit by a limo. And he's basically suffering a fatal concussion. He's like, wait a minute, are you know Guar? And Sleazy Martini, God bless his soul. Of course I know Guar. I'm their fucking manager.
Okay, so I have something for this real quick for you. You know the gun you know that gun he has in that movie, the giant black one that's spray painted black?
Yes.
That's actually a replica of a bolter from Warhammer 40K.
Oh my fucking god. So, this movie is based off of a true story. The evil morality squad steals Odorous Urungus, Dave Brocky's giant tentacle dick, the cuttlefish of Cthulhu, and they put it on trial for obscenity and try to wipe Gwar out. This being a Gwar movie, they solve the problem with a crack baby dinosaur, and what you're left with is this distilled, gory, satirical, anti-censorship, rage wrapped in absurd humor. I'm very biased towards the late 90s weirdness that doesn't give a fuck.
Was this around the same time as the that organization that was trying to get like family TV hour put back on television and was like
so.
feuding with the WWF?
I believe so. So this was based off of the 1990 arrest where cops arrested Dave Brocky and took his cuttlefish of Cthulhu, his cock.
Oh yeah. The LA police still has that in an evidence lockup to this day, by the way. They've never given it back.
I mean, okay,
Honestly,
what's crazy though?
honestly, I think. Do you think that there's any veteran police in the LA like a department that will just look at that and show it to the rookies and go, "You don't want to know what freak we got that from."
What's crazy is that this is like there's only two other musicians that I could think have been arrested for shenanigans like this, and it's NWA and Jim Morrison. So that's a pretty good pantheon.
The musical pantheon of arrests.
Yeah. So I'll just cut it off here. It's one of those movies that you're never going to forget for good or bad. It is Spinal Tap if they were a gore metal band.
I think it's a pretty good description of that movie. I've seen it a couple of times.
You can never go wrong with Gwar. Unless you're listening to, This Toilet Earth. I pass the reins on to you, good sir.
Okay, so my number 5 is actually one very personal, favorite of mine since I was a child. It's called The Adventures of Baron Munchausen.
The only thing I know about Munchausen is the fucking psychological thing.
That's actually named after the man that this movie is based on.
Okay, you have my attention.
So, the movie is it's based off the tall tales of the German adventurer Karl Friedrich Freiherr von Munchausen, otherwise known as Baron Munchausen, right?
Okay.
Now, when I tell you who this is directed by, you'll probably understand why I like this one.
Okay.
Terry Gilliam.
Terry Gilliam. I haven't thought of that name in forever.
It's not just him when it comes to alumni from Monty Python. We also have Eric Idle in here, also John Neville.
Okay.
A lot of other people in here. So the movie itself is it is Baron Munchausen trying to save a city from the attacks from a sultan, right?
Okay.
And he shows up talking about his tall tales after a stage production of one of his stories gets a detail wrong. And so it's just him and this little girl going across the fucking planet and up to the moon trying to stop this sultan and get his friends gathered together. Robin Williams plays the King of the Moon,
Oh my god.
Yeah, Uma Thurman is the Roman goddess Venus.
Okay, is she naked?
At one point, if I remember correctly.
Nice. Dude, that rocks.
So, the movie itself is... It didn't do well at the box office. But, much like the last one I probably talked about, right? There's so much heart and love put into this one.
I mean,
The
the box office.
I also put a lot of stock in practical effects in a movie, right? The costumes, like just for some of the things this was nominated for. It was nominated at the Academy for like best art direction, costume design, best makeup, best visual effects. Like this thing is a beauty to watch. There's puppets. There's all sorts of physical stunts. There's slapstick comedy. You got fucking Monty Python skits in the middle of this goddamn thing.
I won't lie.
It's
The
a
only way this
feast.
could be better is if you had Tim Curry and Bruce Campbell involved.
So the reason why this one is very personally important to me is well, it's one I watched with my dad when I was younger, right? And he'd always and a lot of the movies that we used to watch together, it was always things that he had seen, and or he's like, "Oh, you need to watch this. It's so good." And I'd finally see it, and we'd just sit there. We'd turn off all the lights. We'd pop some popcorn and just pretend that we're in the theater. You know,
I respect that.
fun.
It's one of those cozy movies.
So I love this one. I highly suggest what you watch it. You will fall in love with it. I guarantee.
So I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and Leo, if you're watching this, I want you to watch this movie. I will send you my copy. Shaolin Angel, Shaolin Devil, 1978. I'm gonna preface this with I do not really like kung fu movies. They're generally, by numbers. I like Bruce Lee, and I used to like Jackie Chan before I realized he's a giant piece of shit.
Do you like this one because the Wu-Tang Clan like this one?
I didn't even know the Wu-Tang Clan, but there is some music trivia. If you've never seen a proper 70s Hong Kong kung fu flick where, this is the one you should start with. This plot is
You know what?
revenge, government conspiracy, and how many crazy ass fighting styles can we come up with?
I'm not going to disagree here. It's a pretty decent like introductory kung fu movie. I've seen this one before.
You actually have seen this one.
Dude, I love kung fu movies.
I won't lie, I'm kind of pissed off because I was looking into the archives of my vault. Like, oh, he's never gonna see this one.
Yeah, dude, I fucking love kung fu movies. That's why I was like, "Aw," when you said you're not a big fan of them.
So, Leo, you've got this shadow assassin picking off fighters from different clans, and his calling card is this creepy mask at each scene. And the emperor of whatever is, the warlords are corrupt. So he sends Don Wong Tao, this amazing lead, to pose as a serial killer and infiltrate them. Meanwhile, the B plot, after a whole family gets massacred, one survivor hauls ass to the mountains and trains under this Shaolin monk and masters this Dammoth style to come back swinging. And the finale is pure chaos, where there's multiple threads crashing together. There's betrayals and just one of the most intense brawls you'll ever see on film. And what got me hooked is the fights aren't just punching. Do you remember the dude using the poisonous snakes like whips?
Yes.
That's okay, that's fucking awesome. Then the monk who's sitting, crisscross style on the cushion, just it's like the Steven Seagal scene where he's not even leaving the chair during the fight. The interesting thing for me is this was dropped right at the tail end of the Shaw Brothers explosion, who invented modern kung fu, post Bruce Lee. And this one didn't get a huge release. So it's still indie, but a lot of you people might actually know this for one reason.
That is?
You ever listen to the Bloodhound Gang?
Yes, I have.
They sample this in I Hope You Die. For some reason,
Oh.
that song just decides to open with the dude screaming, "You must die! I alone am best!"
That's what that's from. I forgot. Oh. Oh. You know what? You learn something new every day.
One day I went down the rabbit hole, like, what is that? and it's so fucking... Whew, it's just such a good movie. So, Leo, if you're actually listening, watch it.
Believe we are moving back to me here then.
Next to you, good sir.
So my number 4 is we're actually sticking with a theme for a bit here because my number 4 is also a kung fu movie.
Oh my god, we're not beating the clone allegations.
My number 4 is Kung Fu Hustle by Stephen Chow.
Okay.
So there are, as I mentioned, I love kung fu movies. I had a hard time picking what I think would be like my favorite kung fu movie. Because there's so many that I love. I almost put Crippled Avengers in here, because that's such a good one. I almost put Five Deadly Venoms in here. There's a whole long list. But I put Kung Fu Hustle in here for the simplest reason.
And why is that?
It was the first kung fu movie I ever saw, and it's really fucking funny.
You know what? Respect.
I don't know if you've seen this one or not.
I actually have not. Like I said, I'm not a huge kung fu guy.
So Stephen Chow is really good at making like kung fu comedy movies, right? He did another one called Shaolin Soccer, which I also suggest. But so Kung Fu Hustle. I'm gonna find a picture just as an example of some of the dumb shit you're gonna see in this movie. Here we go. I will send this directly to you. I will explain what is going on in this image. It's been slightly edited to show two different scenes connected together here.
Why is that fucking Chinese Dewey from Malcolm in the Middle?
You're not even gonna focus on how muscular he is?
I don't care. That's Dewey from Malcolm in the Middle.
Alright, well, so Chinese Dewey here, right? See that guy on the left there? He's pretending that he's a member of this infamous gang of killers called the Axe Gang. Called that because they kill you with hand axes and hatchets, right? He's trying to get a free haircut in a place called Pigsty Alley. And he's like, I'll fight anyone here. And then the child, he points to a child and goes, I'll fight you. And the kid comes up and starts flexing his muscles like that. There is an extremely flamboyantly gay man that is in Pigsty Alley. There's a landlady, and the flamboyant gay man is one of the secret kung fu masters that are living in this poor alley, right? You got the landlady who just beats the shit out of everybody, and she walks around just smoking and having like fucking hair curls in her hair all the time, and she just insults them. It's great. So the whole movie is just, it's like a Kung Fu Looney Tunes cartoon. I'm not even joking. It's like Kung Fu with Looney Tunes logic. There's a chase scene, like a fucking like Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote chase scene at one point while a guy has knives stuck in him.
Oh my god.
It is a genuinely good movie. I'm gonna send you a here we go. Here's a GIF from the chase scene.
Okay, I may have to watch this.
It is genuinely one of my favorite movies of all time. Yeah, the fights are good. Like, it has very well done, well choreographed kung fu like fights. Stephen Chow is really good at that. He's great at writing funny dialogue and making all this work and fit together in an experience that just clicks. I mean, Shaolin Soccer is a comedy kung fu movie about soccer teams beating the shit out of each other with kung fu while playing soccer.
Yeah, you know what? There's certain concepts that are just so stupid that I don't think you can go wrong with. And
that's one of them.
Yeah.
I will pass it back to you for number 3.
I'm looking at my list, and I'll just get this one out of the way. Get ready to start groaning. Jefftown, 1998.
I mean, I enjoyed that when I watched it.
So,
I mean, Let me phrase that. Less enjoyed and more was horrified, but
You can't look away.
no, I genuinely couldn't.
So, this isn't necessarily a movie, but it's a short documentary under an hour. It's a trauma release, and there's no bullshit. It's just following Jeff Town, this 40-year-old man with Down syndrome, going around his day-to-day life. And I think the most interesting thing about it is his life feels almost like a parody of itself.
But
And
it genuinely is, like, real.
and he's living his best life. You know, he lives this 90-year-old adoptive mom who's dealing with her own stuff. And then he'll just go to work and drink a yard of beer and then go watch, WCW Nitro and just end the day with a little bit of porn.
That time they went to the Star Trek convention and he molested one of the actresses.
Tried to attack William Shatner.
They just let him get away with it because, he has
Jeff.
Down syndrome.
Jeff
Oh,
Town is
God. What?
such a wild experience because it's Patton Oswalt's first movie credit, and he does such a good job playing Jeff.
Early Ryan Johnson film also. It subverted all your expectations of assuming that this was just going to be a depressing documentary, but no, it was a horror film.
I wanted to point something out too because I was watching our viewing of Jeff Town, and I sold it
Yes.
to you as Jeff. Jeff is a racist and all of this other stuff, but there's literally nothing racist in it, and I just projected that onto him.
No. There. You know what? You probably remembered that bit about the local TV guy and just assumed that Jeff hated him because he was black.
Like, I think the craziest part is Daniel Krauss co-wrote The Shape of Water.
Man has credits working with Del Toro on several projects.
Yes. And it just goes to show that this Christian Lolcow type figure isn't anything new. Christian is just the first well-documented one. And what's crazy is, it's Liquid Christian.
No, he's solid as Chris.
And I love that. My favorite part is he wears an NWO shirt the whole movie. Like, his attire really fucking sells it.
This movie is also aggressively 90s. We can't ignore that.
Watching it feels less like a movie, but it's fairly strange and confusing, but kind of heartwarming. And it makes you nostalgic for a simpler time. This is my Taxi Driver. This is how black people felt about Black Panther. That's how I felt.
Fellow retard.
Jeff Town forever. Rest in peace, big dog.
Oh, God. Oh. Am I up?
Yep.
Okay, so this is, one could say this is my pretentious, movie watcher pick for my number 3.
I guarantee you mine is far worse.
I honestly don't think this is pretentious personally. I just think it's a good movie.
Okay.
Seven Samurai.
Okay, explain to me. Run it down to me like I'm a child.
First question, have you ever seen Seven Samurai?
Negative.
I am actually surprised. It is one of those movies.
It's one of those movies.
So it's an Akira Kurosawa film. So that's just to start. Kurosawa's massive. One of the biggest Japanese film directors of all time, right?
Well, I see this, and one of the first things is considered to be one of the greatest films ever made, so I guess I'm a fucking poser.
It is directly the inspiration for the Western Magnificent Seven.
Okay.
Actually, that's an important bit I should probably explain about cinema history. Samurai movies and cowboy movies borrowed and adapted and copied from each other constantly.
Are we gonna
Constantly.
we have to mention that Disney stole the Lion King from the Chinese?
No.
Japanese? Oh my god,
No,
Nobody
because
sucks to kill me.
because Disney didn't fucking steal the Lion King from anything. But that's a whole other fucking thing. But so Seven Samurai is about a small village that is being ravaged by bandits, right? They can't afford to keep paying these bandits and giving up all their food. So they send a couple of the village members to go find some samurai to defend them. And it's just 4 hours of watching these characters interact, having discussions about honor and what it means to be a true warrior. One of the characters is pretending to be a samurai the entire time,
Okay.
and he has just as much heart and bravery as the real warriors do, fighting to the end. You're slowly watching these characters that they set up as it keeps going be like die one by one, trying to protect these people that just see them as a useful tool. It is.
So this isn't a romanticized version of the samurai. This is, how it really was.
Yeah. It is a amazing movie. Like, I cannot recommend this one enough. It's so long it has intermissions.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's one of those movies. But genuinely, like, this is one of those movies that just, if you like movies in general, this is one that you need to see. You've probably heard people make the joke that George Lucas just stole shit from samurai movies.
Yeah.
This is the director that people always bring up for that. Akira Kurosawa. They always bring up this movie and Hidden Fortress. Which, Hidden Fortress is another really good one.
I guess I'm definitely gonna have to check these out.
Hell yeah, brother.
Oh, is it my turn?
I don't want to spoil much else, so yeah, I'm gonna pass it back to you.
So, I'm gonna preface this. At one point, this was my favorite movie ever.
Ooh. Okay.
And I think the worst part about this is why it was my favorite movie.
Okay, before you continue, I'm gonna ask, on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being less, 10 being most, how pretentious of a picker would you rate this? Because Seven Samurai, for me, like that some people would consider that a pretentious pick. So I'm curious.
With you that I wrote a 4-page dissertation on how this movie is a timeless masterpiece and that everyone should watch it.
Okay.
And if you were going to ask me, if you were going to ask me years ago if I would think this is a pretentious movie, I would say no. But now
Something has changed, though.
It's definitely a very fucking pretentious movie, and I don't even know if that's the right word for it. And
okay,
I hate to use the term slow burn because it's been co-opted by people that this shitty
hate
horror
movies.
is a slow burn.
Yeah, it's been co-opted by, say it like it is, it's been co-opted by people who hate movies.
Yes.
Specifically, they hate horror movies, but they want to watch horror movies, so they have to ruin them for everybody by making them slow burn, or realistic, or make everything all in your head.
But believe it or not, this is not a horror movie.
Oh.
It's a French movie, so we're already a bit pretentious.
Oh, great fucking start.
My Dinner with Andre, 1981.
I have never heard of this.
So, it's Wallace Shawn and Andre Gregory.
That means nothing to me. I don't know what this is.
It is the T-Rex from Toy Story. So, it's Wallace Shawn and Andre Gregory. They sit down in Manhattan at a restaurant for dinner. And that's it. It's 2 hours of them talking. Andre has been off the grid. He used to be a theater star, but then he quit. And now
Wait a minute. Wallace Shawn, yeah, I know who Wallace Shawn is. I'm stupid. He's the fucking guy from Princess Bride. Never, never. Yeah, the fucking never make a something with death against a Sicilian. You know that I can't remember the full quote right now.
So this movie is just two people talking, and it gets deeper, and it gets deeply uncomfortable, then comforting, and it's this nothing happens movie. There's nothing, but it's so hypnotic. It's the original long form podcast. You end up thinking about everything differently, and I can't even give you a plot summary. The official plot summary is two friends meet for dinner. One tells anecdotes detailing his experiences. The other notices their differing worldviews. And it's such just I don't even know how to explain it. And a lot of this, imagine if two smart weirdos had dinner and someone filmed it.
Interesting concept, but I don't think I could just watch two people having a conversation for 2
I
hours.
didn't think I could either. And at one point I lose my shit because of Princess Bride. In the middle of this philosophical lesson about life, the universe, and everything, Wallace Shawn interrupts his friend by yelling, "It's inconceivable!" And this is years before that was his catchphrases. It would be inconceivable to catch us. And it broke me. It took me out of the movie. You can watch this for free on YouTube. Go ahead and watch it. You would not. I don't even know if I can recommend it. It's such a weird movie. But, yeah, here you go.
Alright, so it's my number 2.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a weird one. Alright?
That's what I like to
It's a
hear.
movie called I Accuse My Parents.
I feel like I've heard of this one.
It's a 1944 like exploitation
Is
for
this the
like after
communist
school
propaganda
special.
one?
No.
Okay.
So it's like an exploitation movie, like an after school special type movie about child neglect and how that can lead to horrible things in your son and your kid's life, right? Now, this is the 1940s we're talking about, where their idea of child neglect and leading to juvenile delinquency is your son joining the mob and killing a man.
Okay.
So the whole movie is about this kid named Jimmy Wilson, who the movie starts, and we're in medias res, as it were. We're at the trial of Jimmy Wilson, and the judge is like, "You've not said a single word in defense of yourself this whole trial, young man. Do you have anything to say before I pass the verdict?" And Jimmy finally gets up and just goes, "I do, Your Honor. I accuse my parents."
What the fuck does that even mean?
So the whole movie is he is blaming his parents for being neglectful, and that's why he ended up joining the mob and killing a man. Now, he killed a man in self-defense, mind you, but he still killed a man. His mother is a drunk. His father is a gambler that just stays out all night. They don't pay attention to him or care about anything he does. And he gets a new job.
Series of L's.
Yeah, pretty much. He wins an essay contest at school, so his dad gives him $5. You know, this is 1940s America.
$30.
And he goes off. He wants to get he is like, "Oh, my mom's upset. How about I have her come and help do something at the school? I have her come and help do something at the school, right?"
Oh yeah, that's what
She goes to
his mother wants. Unpaid work.
She's excited about it, and then she gets drunk after his dad comes in going, "What are you doing getting all gussied up for?" Like, "Oh, I'm gonna go just do something at Jimmy's school." And he's like, "You doing anything?" Huh. And just walks off, and she gets depressed and starts day drinking. She walks into the school drunk, and this is where we start to see some of the cracks in Jimmy's social life form. Because he's been pulling up lies about his family this whole movie, right?
Oh my god.
This movie is just him constantly lying to people about how his family loves him. but in reality, they're neglectful and they don't seem to give a shit about him. He starts working at a shoe store. The shoe store's not bringing enough money. He gets a crush on a girl who does like singing at a club, sings at a restaurant. Turns out said girl also is being has a mob boss who is in love with her,
Oh boy.
and the whole movie is just mistake after mistake after mistake on Jimmy's part, getting deeper and deeper involved in the mafia until he has to try and run away from home and lives with this restaurant guy for like half a year. And I don't want to spoil too much else because this is a funny movie. It's unintentionally funny. They made this
So
in
it's
an
like
attempt to
Luther
be like a make a
Madness.
yes, exactly. They made this unironically to be like a commentary on the woes of society now and how families are neglecting their children. Well, it's bad. It's terrible, and it's so unintentionally funny that it's hilarious.
So
Now, why is this on my list?
yes, exactly.
It is one of the movies in one of my favorite episodes of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh my fucking god! It all comes back to that.
That's where I first saw it. I've watched it without the commentary since then, obviously, and it's still funny. It's still funny without it. But that's not the full reason why it's on here. The other reason is that I love this little piece of Americana that's so stupid and poorly made and poorly thought out that it's just so entertaining.
I like that. There's something very interesting about how America's standards have changed.
Significantly.
I guess I could use this to segue into my movie.
Oh, you're number one, yes.
Actually, I have two more. Because
Ooh.
I guess I've said five, but I wrote six. So we've had this way too classy. So let's take it a bit
Time to
trashier.
I have some honorable mentions I can add before my number one, because
It's,
there were some I just
I'm very glad you have honorable mentions because that's how we'll close this.
with honorable mentions after our number ones.
Yeah, see, you're smart. You're doing it. You know, I have this in no specific order.
I'm
This
going down the order of like how important the movie is to me personally.
have you seen the Wrong Turn movies?
I have seen Wrong Turn, yes.
So I'm going to take a minute to bash those movies. Imagine, imagine having a franchise of 8+ movies, and only one of them is objectively good. Now, the first Wrong Turn is fine. It's classic city kids versus hillbillies, but it's by the numbers. The other movies, three and Last Resort is one of the most disgusting movies I've ever seen, and I still don't know if I like it because horror
I don't
as a
think I've seen
genre.
that one.
You ever wanted to see?
I thought I think now that I think about it, the ones I've seen are 1 through 4. I haven't seen 5 or 6.
5 and 6 are. I think 5 is the one where it has Doug Bradley. So that's. Okay, I'm gonna say this. 5 is weird. When you have me saying, Jesus Christ, this movie's really fucking mean spirited. I think you fucked up somewhere. But we're gonna ignore this. Wrong Turn 1 is
Okay.
just okay. Wrong Turn 2 Dead End from 2007 is fucking amazing.
Oh, is this the one we're getting to?
I am going to say it outright. I am horribly biased. The first movie's okay if you like straight survival horror. This one says, let's make a fun, gory movie and turn Henry Rollins into fucking Rambo.
I was about to say, is this because Henry Rollins just goes fucking like ham on these fuckers in this movie?
I Henry Rollins is like they are so underrated as an actor, and I wish they did more. I never thought in 1,000 years that with his performance in Sons of Anarchy that I would have respect for a Nazi.
Just because he played them so realistically and just so much like a real person and not
Yes.
just like a cartoon.
He's such a good actor. So, in Wrong Turn 2, the setup is a game show, like Survivor or whatever, set in the West
Right.
Virginia woods. Hosted by Colonel Dale, played by Henry Rollins. So,
Oh, the man they are.
we have the cannibals from the first movie. They're real, and now they're hunting the contestants for sport. And it turns this grim slasher formula into dark comedy gold. For the first half of the movie, as people are slowly getting picked off, the cast is just like, oh, well, no one's actually dying. You're an idiot. It's a game show. You get this really funny part where, hey guys, I found a camp of hillbillies and I took their food. I guess you won't be eliminating me. And everyone's like, yeah, this is really good, until you realize, holy shit, that's Kimberly's tattoo. We're eating a person. And everyone just starts freaking out. I don't want to spoil everything, but there is one joke that really fucking gets me every time. One of the hillbillies, they're incest cannibal hillbillies, you know, the deal. But he sees this woman skinny dipping and starts masturbating, and his sister finds it, and she slaps him and murders the woman. It's one of the most brutal kills in the movie. And then later, we get to see another sex scene. The sister has cut the woman that her brother's jacking off to, cut her face off, and is wearing it as a mask. And it's so disgusting, but so funny. I would expect nothing more from Joe Lynch, who is Adam Green's best friend. I fucking love Adam and Joe.
We were talking about Henry Rollins as an actor, right?
Yes.
This is not on my list, but it's another example of him just being just good at what he does. Have you ever seen the movie He Never Died?
Yes, my mom loved that.
Good fucking movie.
What's really funny is that Henry Rollins too, he did all of his own stunts in that.
Yeah. He is a professional through and through on whatever he does, which adds a really funny piece to his stint as a judge on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah, he's the only one fucking judging it. Like, well,
A performance.
That costume, that performance could have been better.
Genuinely, that's what he did. He took notes while they were coming down the runway, and would actually go in depth on, okay, that performance sucked. Your costume needs to be worked on. That your dance moves terrible, and he actually gave real criticism. It was hilarious.
Anything he's in is a treat.
I mean, that's the only time I would suggest watching that show, but.
Alright, so we're gonna rip the band-aid off. Go ahead and tell us what your number one is.
Oh, no, you said you had a couple, so what's your other one?
Okay.
You said you had a couple number ones, so since I have, quite the daunting one for my number one, what's your other?
The last, it's gonna be really funny and when we compare, your number one with mine. This is gonna take a little bit of context.
Okay.
Adult animation is now seen as just sort of an acceptable thing, but it wasn't always like that.
The adult animation is typically accepted nowadays is usually just, different flavors of Family Guy, though.
Yes, exactly. So,
Or different flavors of Rick and Morty. There's no in between at this point. It's either you're Family Guy or Rick and Morty.
and imagine what it was like, back in the 80s. So,
Okay. There's some good adult animated movies from the 80s, so you know what? I'm excited to hear this.
this is based off of a French magazine that is based off of a Canadian magazine that's based off of a French magazine.
I know what movie this is.
Heavy Metal by 1981. And this came out in an era when animation was seen as kids' stuff in the West, Disney and Saturday morning cartoons. So then Heavy Metal just comes out and it's like, graphic violence, we got sex, we got drugs, and we got Blue Oyster Cult. And if you don't think that's the cool shit, leave.
And you know what? It is the coolest shit.
Like this proved that animation could be dark, sexy, and violent, and sometimes philosophical for grown-ups. And
I mean, that's also how Heavy Metal Magazine was, which the movie is at adapting like different comics and strips and stories from Heavy Metal Magazine.
yeah, this movie walked so stuff like Akira and Beavis and Butthead could run.
You know what? You're not wrong.
There is
Before this movie, I think the only guy who was really like trying to treat animation like a medium like this was fucking Ralph Bakshi.
yes. Did Wizards come out before or after Heavy Metal?
Before, this was the 70s.
Okay. Damn, why did I think it was after? This is the this is the OG of adult animation. And every segment is a banger. And I think one of the more interesting things is that every time I watch this, I have a new favorite segment. What is your favorite segment?
There's so many. I need to think for a minute because there's so many good ones in this one.
So Kay's favorite, if I'm remembering correctly, is Den, where I think it's John Candy gets basically isekai'd. It has the wild sex adventure. It's like, I'm not going with my dork hanging out.
Yeah, Den, that's the one. That's the sword and sorcery one, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna be real, right? My favorite part of the movie is the Harry Canyon segment.
You know what?
Because I also really love that comic that it came from, because it was adapted from all of these were adapted from different comic strips that came out of the magazine.
Yes.
But that one is just one of the best realizations of the fucking strip. And it's one of the reasons that the concept of cyberpunk became a thing in general. The cyberpunk tabletop role-playing game and movies like fucking Blade Runner wouldn't exist without Harry Canyon.
See, I'm gonna give you some credit too. The instrumental of Veteran of the Psychic Wars is you just see this futuristic, gritty, cynical New York. It's just such a beautifully ugly aesthetic that it's definitely, I would say, it's the best one in the movie. But that said, it's not my favorite.
Which one is your favorite?
So, like I said, every time I watch it, there's a different one. If you were to ask me, a few months ago, it'd be the World War II bomber one.
B-17?
Yes, it's just genuinely chilling and creepy and great music. But now I have to give it to Captain Stern. Captain Stern is a hilarious courtroom parody in space. And it's probably the most quotable bit in the whole movie.
That fucking bit where they go down Stern's entire list of crimes has been a meme for God knows how long.
Good. And one moving violation. I've got an angle. Like it's proto Zap Brannigan.
It's where they got the concept for Zap Brannigan.
Exactly. And there's one last treat in this special.
Right.
Roger Bumpass plays Hanover Fist, and you get to hear Roger Bumpass do the Squidward voice in 1981, 20 years before SpongeBob. It's so surreal to hear Squidward he's an overflowing cup. Kill him! Kill him now!
Oh, I have a somewhat funny aside that's kind of related, right?
Alright.
I discovered a guy online recently who's just this crazy motherfucker. His name is Joshua DeFarina, right?
Alright.
And he is obsessed. Fucking obsessed with SpongeBob, right? But he's particularly obsessed with how he thinks Squidward tentacles is too mean, and how Joshua DeFarina needs to be removed from the show so that someone else can take his place to voice Squidward, so that Squidward can be nicer. Because I guess he thinks that Joshua DeFarina writes the character. Sorry, not DeFarina. I guess he thinks Roger Bumpus writes the character. And he's obsessed with this one episode that was like, oh, it was only supposed to have SpongeBob and Sandy Cheeks in it, but it had Squidward and it had Mr. Krabs. And he will just make videos ranting about this while he's in the middle of like a fucking Kroger. And he also wants, and not just a Kroger, like a Publix or any other store he's at. And like people are just looking at him like he's crazy, and he's out there with like one of his parents or something because he can't be on his own. He's an adult and he's this weird autistic man who can't be on his own and is obsessed with SpongeBob.
Could be us, chat. Could be us.
The other thing besides that is he also wants Roger Bumpus to voice Squidward on The Simpsons.
What?
I don't know. I don't claim to understand the mind of these crazy people. But rewinding back to the original discussion here, yeah, Heavy Metal is fantastic. That is a great movie.
So we're gonna.
Would you like?
We're gonna get ready to end this. I'm going
to say, would you like to go down a list of honorable mentions before I do mine and go into mine number one?
Yeah. So honorable mentions. I'll just look at my shelf right here. So this is a weird one. This is Legend of Crystania. Crystania, I don't know. It's this weird old anime that I've never really seen anything like it at the time, and I still don't know if it's good. But it's definitely interesting. And even on old forums where people discuss old anime, I'm trying not to spoil this because I have another episode of this planned. You know, I'm going to be interviewing another friend, and I don't want to shoot myself in the foot and well, I think it should have been this.
Well, in that case, I will go down. I will give three.
I'll give you two more.
All right, I'll do three honorable mentions then also.
I think Creepshow might be one of the best movies ever made because you get to watch Stephen King shoot himself.
You know what? I can't argue.
I'm really glad that that's the joke that took you out of it. That's all I needed to say. I got two more, I guess. The Postal movie is one of those movies that, for better or worse, you are never going to forget it. You're gonna yell at me. Unironic pick here. I think Kick-Assia should be preserved. Kick-Assia embodies this perfect zeitgeist of the internet culture in a way that we will never see it ever again. And while the filmmaking behind it is questionable at best, you know, a lot of the issues with YouTuber movies is there's nothing there if you're not a fan of the YouTuber. This movie, I don't want to shit on it because I do like it, but it's just such a weird movie.
I mean, I don't like it, right? But at the same time,
get the fuck off my podcast.
I don't. But here's the thing: at the same time, I can't disagree. Like it really is like a a cultural time capsule of how crazy the mid 2000s to early 2010s reviewer culture was back then.
And I'm going to give you one more because it helps segue into it. This is a really weird pick, and I wanted to include this, but it's a TV show.
Okay.
So I decided we're just doing movies.
If you want to wait to do an episode on TV shows, there you go.
Perhaps. So I don't know if anyone remembers this show, but this was one of the first shows I watched as a teenager that I really felt was deep. and, it really just felt adult in a way that was weird to explain. Wilfred.
Wilf. I feel like I watched that.
Well, here's how it segues into your movie. I think, without a doubt, this is Elijah Wood's best work.
Okay, I remember this. It took me a minute. I never watched this. I knew it existed. It's like an Australian TV show.
I will say this, and this is going to be a really controversial take that might get me shot. This show is what people try to tell you what BoJack Horseman is.
I mean, I hate BoJack Horseman, so you know what?
This,
I'm not gonna shoot you over that one.
I think you are actually doing yourself a disservice. Like, this show it's really vulgar.
I'll give it a try. Don't worry. I give anything a try at least once.
Like, I know Elijah Wood. People like to make fun of him for being a hobbit, and that's gay. But this show is just. I don't even have the fucking words. It's just that good.
Okay, so
go ahead, do what you need to.
I'm gonna give my honorable mentions first. Actually, it's just gonna be three. It's gonna be three. Army of Darkness.
You know what? I don't even have to argue with that.
I genuinely, I think I love almost every single movie that Sam Raimi has made. Not all of them, obviously, but everything about Army of Darkness, the filming, like the story behind the filming of it, it's nowhere near as insane as the story of what the fuck happened on the set for Evil Dead 1.
Well,
but
that's because they actually had union laws. You can't just abuse your staff anymore.
You just can't beat your friends on set anymore. So, like, everything about that movie, fucking love it. Popeye with Robin Williams.
Oh god, it still hurts that, Robin Williams and Shelley Duvall are gone. That I don't think anyone else could play a live action version of Popeye or Olive.
Genuinely, I can't think of anyone better that could do it. They were perfect. Fucking Robin had the voice down perfectly. He sounded like the cartoon.
I'm going to interject with one more movie because we're going to pay some respects to the king. 1 Hour Photo with Robin Williams is such a great movie because specifically it's Robin Williams playing a creepy, film developer. It prays against, it's Robin Williams.
All right, so this honorable mention is a bad movie, but it has a place in my heart. It's called Dragons of Autumn Twilight.
That is very fucking pretentious sounding.
It is a cartoon adaptation of a Dungeons and Dragons novel.
Oh boy.
I have the DVD right here on my shelf next to me. I want you to guess who. Just give me a random guess who is in this fucking movie.
All right. What year did it come out?
Give me 1 second. The year 2008.
2008. Who's popular? Jack Black.
No, he is not in this.
Thank God. Let's go like Will Smith.
No.
Okay. Give me two more. Can I get like a hint? Is the
one of them was a Metal Gear voice actor.
Are you gonna fucking tell me David Hayter is in this?
No.
Okay, Metal Gear. I gotta get at least one. Michael Ironside.
No, but I believe that guy was in one of the live action D&D movies.
Oh my god! I'm gonna cheat. I'm just gonna say Phil Lamar because he's in everything.
He actually is in this as one of the characters.
Fuck yes. All right. Let's look at this cast. Oh my god.
Okay, so Kiefer Sunderland.
Why is he?
He plays a character named Raceland Majory. Okay, so this is an adaptation of one of the Dragonlance novels, and Dragonlance is one of my favorite D&D settings, right? Kiefer Sunderland fucking read the entire series that these books come from and fucking tried to come up with his own language for magic spells to use while he was casting them as Raceland in this fucking movie?
Well, I want to say this. It's really nice that you're telling me this. That I see the film was predominantly negative. Dan Heat describes it as a disaster.
Oh yeah, no, it's a terrible movie. The production was like a hot mess, but it was the first time I saw a Dungeons and Dragons movie, and it was an adaptation of a book I really liked growing up. So I was like, you know what? For what I got,
See,
wasn't terrible.
I'm glad that I only watch good movies like Jeff Down.
All right, so there's my honorable mentions. Now it's time for my number one.
All right.
My number one for the viewers at home. Yeah, I could not put just one. It's the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
I'm gonna say this, like anyone who knows you, this is like the media equivalent of he was on our radar. Like, yeah, we knew. We knew where this was going.
So it's just a really important thing, right? Lord of the Rings was the first time I watched a movie where I went, "Oh, movies are cool.
Yeah.
This is cool. This is fun. I enjoy this." Just every little detail about these movies is just amazing. Like, just watching them for the first time when you're growing up is an experience. When you're older, like when you're an adult, and you go back to try and rewatch these, and you see that they've barely aged a day, the effects still hold up. Like, one of the only complaints I could have effect-wise is that the Balrog looks a little cheap in the first one. Like, that's it. These things have aged so well. The production behind them, because they are very open about the amount of like blood, sweat, and tears they put into making these. They filmed all three of them at the exact same time. Like, they were doing scenes for one movie that wasn't going to come out for like another 3 years because they were still working on bits from the first movie. Fucking Peter Jackson like went to bat trying to find someone who would even let him make 2 movies, let alone one. He didn't expect to get 3 of them. He shopped this around to several studios, and it wasn't until someone at New Line went, "Wait a minute, aren't there $3?" And then they were greenlit for 3 movies, and they gave this massive, known medium, like this known franchise, that at this point in time was beloved by readers, to the same guy who made Meet the Feebles.
You know, it's so weird how the fantasy genre is just getting butchered. And, you know, did you ever see the Futurama movie, Bender's Game? Where it's like all...
Yes, I did.
I was rewatching that the other night, and I wanted to, like, message you. But there's a post-credits scene where it's dedicated to Gary Gygax. And I'm like, damn. They actually, like, did their fucking research. Like, I guess we're gonna make some enemies here. Or maybe fans. But I've tried to watch The Rings of Power, and I'm not a Lord of the Rings spurred. But from clips...
I am.
From the clips that I've seen of... The last time I watched Lord of the Rings, literally, it was still acceptable to make jokes about George Bush. You know, we're talking 15 plus years ago. Even from, like, what I remember is the environments were beautiful. Like, the scene where the tree people really, like, fucking did it for me as a kid. But now, if you look at Rings of Power, it looks boring, and my uncle...
I'm trying to keep it simple, right? Because I could talk about this movie for hours. Like, I could talk about how every one of the Ents, all of them are named. They have names in the books, and they all are supposed to tend to a specific type of tree, right?
Alright.
And I can't name all of them off the top of my head. And by the time of the War of the Ring, there are 40 Ents left. 40 of them. They're a dying species that just ends up turning into trees. They weren't trees in the first place. Treebeard is not. Yeah, no, the Ents are not trees. They were one of the first beings to walk on Arda. They are older than the elves. Treebeard is the oldest living thing on Middle Earth.
And he just helps them get out of the swamp.
Yeah, he's just so ancient.
He's just there.
Yeah. They don't do anything because their thing is just tending to their flock. They're shepherds of the forest.
If it hurts the trees, I'm gonna fucking square up. We stand on
Pretty much. Pretty much that's what the Battle of Isengard was. It's the Ents going, you know what? We're fucking done here. You've cut down too much. So trees are now speaking Vietnamese.
Oh no. Oh.
Like, I could go on for hours about these movies. Just every little detail and like the filmmaking that went into it. But I'd just be saying what has already been said.
Yeah, we're already at an hour and a half. We don't need 6 hours of lore on. Well, actually, Gandalf's room is important.
It's like the best I could say is like these movies as a trilogy earned 24 Oscars for a reason. I typically don't put stock into like, you know, the award shows that much, but when they get it right, they get it right, you know?
Yeah. No, that's absolutely a fair statement.
Well, I think that's it for now, isn't it?
I do believe it do be like that, Mr. Sneed.
It do indeed.
Thank you, and unfortunately, you will not be the co-host next episode.
Oh, we still have to do the kung fu hooker killing movie.
We will, but you're not gonna be the next co-host of. I forgot what I'm naming the spinoff. I'm a fucking loser.
Flicks from the Graveyard Shift.
Yes, thank you. Goodbye, Sneed.
Oh, can I make a declaration before we leave?
Only if it's a declaration that's like gonna be based in red pilled.
Next live movie we're doing, Suburban Sasquatch.
If I'm not gonna get, destroyed by copyright, we still need to do like all that religious propaganda too.
You know what? That's what we need to do. Actually, you wanted to do the religious propaganda against like D&D and AD stuff. Yeah, let's do that next time. That's actually really funny. I've been wanting to do that for a while.
I want to do it too, but Noah, who's probably not going to listen to this, bailed on me last time. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, get your ass in here, Noah. Let's fucking talk about propaganda, you fuck ass.
All right. Godspeed, Spider-Man. We're done.
Godspeed, you Black Emperor.